Good evening. I call to order this City Council work session for Tuesday, August 26th, 2025. It's 5:30 p.m. The City of Gladstone is abiding by guidelines set forth in House Bill 2560, which requires the governing body of the public body, to the extent reasonably possible, to make all meetings accessible remotely through technological means and provide opportunity for members of the general public to remotely submit oral and written testimony during meetings to the extent in-person oral and written testimony is allowed. Therefore, this meeting will be open to the public both in person and virtually using the Zoom platform. The Zoom instructions are on the agenda for the meeting. The public is welcome to attend the work session in person or online. However, no public comment will be allowed during a work session. So we have two items on our agenda tonight: the Community Center Class School Program and an update on City Council goals. So we'll begin with our roll call.
Councillor Huckabee.
Present.
Councillor Mitchell.
Present.
Councillor Blaug.
Present.
Councillor Labonte.
Present. Thank you.
Councillor Corbett.
Present.
Councillor Garlington. Mayor Milch.
Present. Please stand for the flag salute. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, first item on our agenda is a report on the Community Center Class School Program. And we have Michelle Prusso from our Community Center Director here tonight. Councilor, let the record show, Councilor Garlington is here. She battled traffic, but made it before we even started any agenda items. Okay, so let's have a report from staff, please.
Thank you, Mayor and City Council. The reason why this is on your agenda is because this is a new program that the city is introducing in the fall. As you recall, for decades, we had an agreement with the Gladstone School District on a community school program. And during COVID, that program sunset because there was no activity going on. At that time, it was called the Senior Center. For the last couple of years, we've been in communications with the school district, and we've both kind of wanted to go our separate ways. So the school district is still going to be offering certain classes at their high school, but now the city is also going to be offering different classes at the community center. So we're going to have our community center manager give you a brief overview of our first term at the center.
Okay.
Thank you. So like Jackie was saying, we did pick out a few classes to start the spring or start our first term at the community center, where we weren't in competition with anything the high school was doing. So we went with Tai Chi, 3 levels: beginner, intermediate, and advanced. We did Zumba Gold for seniors or anyone who wants like a slower paced Zumba. And we did, for the first time ever, Drums Alive, creative writing for all ages, a youth art class, 2 courses, one for 6 to 9 and the other one for 11 to 13, I believe, or 10 to 13. And then just recently we found out that yoga was not going to be offered at the community school either. So the yoga teacher came to us and asked if we would offer yoga as well. So we kind of put that together at the last minute. It's not on here, but we did happen to fill the yoga class as well at the community center within the last week. So out of all those courses, we have max capacity in every single one of them. All the classes are full except creative writing and the youth art class. We're still holding out hope this week that we get enough to be able to hold the class. So we'll see. A lot of people aren't used to us having those all age courses. So I think it's just going to take a little bit of time to get that word out into the community, and we will just keep pushing at that for all ages. Different classes offer different classes. Yeah, it's been really a success. We have My Senior Center at the community center, so it was easy registration. We easy pay, and we're able to mass communicate with all of our everyone who signs up through the My Senior Center programming that we already had in place. So we can send out reminder emails, when class starts, course details, all that.
And My Senior Center is a software program that we have down there for the participants when they come in.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. So, any
And
questions?
we didn't name it because we changed our name to community center, but it's something that's used by other centers in other locations.
Correct.
Just some good software to help with registration and.
Absolutely. It's used across the United States through mostly, it was developed when most community centers were called senior centers. And it really has gone the way of community center now, but they didn't change their name. So it's not just for seniors. It has amazing capabilities for us for tracking who comes to the center, invoicing, just everything, people checking in. Yeah. So, and then our broadcast system, which we're really excited about because we can send out through email, text, and phone calls through the broadcasting through the software as well.
So if you have weather issues that prevent a class from being held or something later in the fall, then you'll be able to communicate to people right away.
Absolutely. Just through, honestly, 60 seconds, I can I can do all three, type out an email, a text, and I can record my voice right into it. And regardless if the person has a home line, cell line, or email attached to the My Senior Center, it could go out to all three or just one, however they have it set up. And then we have it all categorized where we have an all center, and then we have for just the classes, or we have for just the home delivered meal participants, or just the volunteers, or say we needed volunteers to come in, we could shoot out a broadcast to just the volunteers. For communication, it's really superior. Love it. So
That's great. Do any counselors have questions for Michelle about the programs or anything?
I've got one.
Sure, Councilor Labonte.
I'm really just curious. I assume I know the answer. And great work, by the way. This is awesome, and I'm really excited for the community center to see kind of where this whole after COVID thing leads us. But my one question, I assume it has to do with supplies, but I noticed that there's a pretty significant price difference in the youth art class compared to, let's say, the painting class. Is that mostly to do with supplies, or is there something I'm missing there?
correct. So we had to purchase, or we would have to purchase all the supplies for the youth art class. The painting class, the instructor includes a supply list for everyone attending that class. So, and as we all know, paintbrushes, paints, easels, all that kind of stuff, it's spendy. Our price structure is really break even, and then to kind of account for those supplies on there. So for each class.
That's awesome. Thank you very much.
And you described one or more of these classes as new, but some I assume you've had in the past. How are the decisions made about what kinds of courses you're going to offer? Of course, it's a different structure than you had before because now you're doing separate from the school district courses. But do you solicit suggestions from the public on what kind of courses they'd like to see? And how do you find instructors for new ideas?
Yeah, so to answer your first question, we had a whiteboard up at the center for probably 2 months, asking people what classes they wanted to see at the center. And we put something out in the newsletter as well as social media. So we kind of gathered up all that information, and then we called around to other centers and asked them what their most popular courses were at their centers. We kind of compiled all that information and then took into account the classes with the instructors that were already there, which include the Zumba. And we already had Tai Chi that was offered for free there. We just turned it into one of our courses. The Zumba teacher wanted to stay at the community center and did not have a place at the community school, unfortunately. So those two were really easy. We already had the instructors. The Zumba teacher also went and certified herself in Drums Alive. It's something she's really passionate about with cognitive, not just the exercise portion of fitness, but cognitive, the aspects of really being able to have a full body, mind, spirit, body workout. And so that's what the Drums Alive is. We're really excited about it. As far as the creative writing, I reached out to the high school, and there was a few teachers that were laid off, and approached them to see if they would like to teach this creative writing class. Same with the youth art class. I reached out to former teachers, and that's how we found both of those. And then the adult painting, the acrylics and oil, that was another community school class that we picked up, as well as yoga, that unfortunately didn't have a place at the high school or with the community school any longer. So we allowed them to continue their courses at the community center.
Well, thank you for all that administration. That's great. And it's good to know that you're responsive to things that people are wanting to see.
And we're still open for suggestions because we do want to change. So if the creative writing and the youth art class don't work out this term, we're not giving up on those multi-generational classes. We're just going to try something different moving forward until we find the things that the community does want to see at the center.
Very good. Councilor Huckabee.
Thank you. Are we planning on maybe doing some video documentation of these classes to use them as a marketing tool to increase participation later?
That's a great idea.
I'll just plant the seed.
That's a great idea. And we actually do with gyms, we have the audio group that we work with through the high school. So that could be another partnership through the high school where we see if they want to come over and make a little project out of that.
I love it.
So thank you for that suggestion.
Yeah. My second question is that I think I read on our goal update that we have a Spanish speaking instructor for the creative writing class.
Correct. Sunny, she's from the high school. She's bilingual.
Should we add that on here? So it will maybe increase participation?
So we did put out separate flyers in Spanish. We did them in English and Spanish, and we put them not only online, but all of our events. We had the English and Spanish along with the other classes, where we approached people, community festival, music on the greens, and then hung them up around town as well. And we also marketed a few of the apartment complexes next to us that have a large population of Spanish speaking individuals. So we did try to do outreach.
Right.
I was running out of space on here.
It's okay. It's a lot of good information.
Thank you.
Councilor Mitchell.
How many more registrations do you need for each of the two classes that you don't have enough attendees so far?
For creative writing, we need 2 more to be able to continue the class. And for the youth art class, we need 4.
Okay. For each grade age group?
We're willing to just put on 1 class if that's what it takes. It's a dual teacher set. One of them is willing to volunteer her time. So, and the creative writing teacher is willing to also volunteer her time if we can get the 4 minimum. So.
All right, Michelle, thank you very much for this information, for making this transition to a new program, and for for structuring it so well the first time out. And we look forward to good things in future terms.
Thank you, guys. Have a good night.
All right, back in January, the council got together and did our goal setting for the year. And then later in the spring, we did a budget for programs that will sort of address those goals. And now, only 7 months later, we have a report from our city staff that gives us a summary of where we are, an update on our 25-26 city council adopted goals. So turn it back over to Administrator Betts.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. And that was a great summary. And I believe we adopted the goals in March. And I was thinking back, maybe 4 or 5 months of solid work that we've been doing on this, and very proud of the management team that we have at the city just to share with you my approach to this is we have a management meeting every Tuesday, and that's all the department heads that attend that. And we talk about upcoming policy that's coming before council, and we talk about projects on our city council goals. In addition to that, I meet with the department heads individually every week. So I have a one-on-one meeting, and I'm there for them to talk about how are you doing? Where are you stuck? Where can I help you? And that's allowed us to really build together a cohesive team in moving these forward. So about a month ago, I had sent them all out a template and said, here's our goals, your assignments, my assignments as well. We need some updates. And they had about a month to put in their progress. I take them and I kind of do a storytelling to give you an update on where we are. And my intent tonight was to not go through all of the goals, but if you had any questions, I could answer them. But again, I think that just even 7 months into this 24-month goal strategy, we've made some great progress. One area I did want to note is on page 2-17, and that is in regards to the Gladstone Nature Park restrooms and picnic shelter project. That last date should say 2026 and not 2025. So the goal is to have a finalized plan ready to issue a request for proposal by spring of 2026. So I wanted to make sure we got that correction, and we will fix that on the website as well. Other than that, I'm open for a conversation, but I'm just, like I said, very pleased with the progress that's been done.
Well, thank you to you and all the department heads for helping to get this together. It's helpful for us, when we do very high level goals, and then staff is responsible for seeing how can we make those goals happen. And you're coming up with projects and activities, and then some of those things happen sort of, outside our view and outside the view of citizens. Sometimes I hear people commenting, oh, when are we going to do all these infrastructure projects we keep talking about? Well, they're getting done kind of behind the scenes. And this is a great source for us to be able to respond to citizens who have questions about anything that the city's doing, because it's very up to date and very descriptive. I like the style of the way you present things. So let me ask, do any counselors have questions about any particular goal that's on here? Anything about our strategy going forward? Councilor Labonte.
If I may just please ask, and thank you, Jackie, for all this work. I noticed that with the Main Street program, there's a funding issue, federal funding issue, and that program isn't going to continue, if I read that correctly. Are there any other places in our plan that are being kind of blocked by any funding issue that we've heard so much about, or is that the one that I can point to, or that we can point to here?
There's two that it's like what are they called? Easter eggs that I'll point you to the second one. That is the first one. However, we do have a plan to move that goal forward, even if we aren't able to get the rare student. But that is one instance in where the federal government funding has put a pause on a project or one of our implementations that we've wanted to do.
And that was goal number 1.3, which is on page 2-3 for counselors who didn't know where it was. And then you said there's a second.
Yes, and it is under parks. So we're going to go to the back, goal 4. And I believe it is going to fall under the Parks Board strategy. So I am on number 6, the Highway 99 East Trail crossing from Doll Beach to Charles Ames Park. We applied for federal funding that is known as the Clackamas Greenway Trail Project. And we were not successful in 2024. And the new administration has not released a timeline for the future funding. So that project there for that funding is not moving forward. But again, that doesn't mean that we're not looking to Metro or other means of trying to get that funding. So those are the two from the federal level that I can see that have had an impact on the goals.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
I have a question about
Councilor Garlington, yes.
So I know that when I've written grants before, sometimes you can just pull that, when you get denied, you just pull it up and rework it a little bit and get it off to the next one that might come up. Is that a possibility if funding should come up? That
Yes,
could
we have the
still-
application on
Okay.
file and we would do some updating. It's just finding the correct funding for that application. But yes, that would be our intent.
And we no longer have our grant writer, am I correct?
That is correct.
Okay, okay. Thank you.
And one thing, just the timing was not right for us to hear from Metro on the various projects or ideas for projects that have been suggested through a new program that they have for supporting for granting some projects related to nature in neighborhoods and communities. So we again, that might be another source. And once we hear that, an update from them that relates to the projects that were suggested for the city of Gladstone, we may have a lot of things to add to this report the next time we do it.
Yeah, because being involved with Metro's community choice projects, I can share that there are some similarities in what the community proposed there for a couple of council goals that we have. So I am eager to see if those are included in the 80 projects that Metro is moving forward.
Very good. Any other questions? Councilor Blau?
Yes, the river rescue program at High Rocks was another area where it looks like funding is going to be an issue. Do we have, I know you basically said we're still working on that, but is there anything additional you would like to add about that for next summer?
I reached out to the county administrator and told him that we were aware that they have a new agreement with AMR and that our program sunsets next week, I believe. And I'd like to be involved in the conversations as they strategically try to find some sustainable funding for that. And he reassured me that that is the county's commitment for that. They're taking the lead on that, but Gladstone can still be part of those conversations. So I feel very confident. I have a good relationship with the county administrator and we'll continue. May will be here before we know it. So we do have to start talking about that now.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anything else? Well, once again, thank you for your work on this. Thank you for accomplishing as many of the goals as you have so far, making good progress on them. And, we did 2-year goals. In some cases, we're looking to, I think in at least one of the infrastructure goals related to street improvements, you were looking at getting 2-year bids on getting them accomplished. So,
in November, you're going to see a couple of contracts come to you for infrastructure projects. And then just keep in mind when we do our next update, which we try to do every 6 months, some may not have as much progress at that point. But also what we will do is we will keep this language in the report and the new language will be in red font. So you will know what has been done since the last report.
very good. That's been helpful in the past to have reports presented that way. Councilor Huckabee has another question or comment.
Thank you. On 2-20, under goal 5.1, number 2, can you give us an update on the mental health addiction specialist role and where we are in that? Are they active? Are they training?
She is training with Clackamas County. She will be here in Gladstone, riding with the police officers. I believe it's September 8th and 9th. And we will be introducing her to you at the September 9th council meeting.
Awesome. I love to hear it. Thank you.
Okay. Well, speaking of September 9th, that's the date for our next regular city council meeting. Today was the deadline for people to apply to run for office for seat number 5, the remaining year on that term. And we did have one application that came in a week or so ago. So it looks like that person will be running unopposed for the seat. And I think that's all we have for tonight. Okay. All right. It is, we are adjourned at 5:55.